Svalbard carries a deeper kind of magic. It is the Arctic as few have ever seen. Formed by vast ice fields, crystalline glaciers and breathtaking summits, this fascinating archipelago is one of the very last places in Europe that allows you to embrace great wilderness. Longyearbyen, Svalbard's main settlement, is home of only a few thousand people and is the main entry point of the island. It is the door that you'll need to cross to capture the North Pole spirit. Embarking on a sailing vessel means reaching places extremely hard to access otherwise, observing a sanctuary of incredible diversity of wildlife, as well as following the trails of legendary polar explorations.
We are on board of the sailing vessel the Noorderlicht, and I bought this ship in 1990, and afterwards I rebuilt the ship with my companion in 2.5 years to a sailing ship. When we bought the ship it was only the hull, there were no decks in it, no deck house, no engine, no mast, it was totally empty hull. The total restoration cost 2.5 years, and then we start sailing with the ship. And I was the owner for the ship for 23 years, and we always sailed the summer in Spitsbergen. You can see that since then the most glaciers become smaller. So for sure we can see that the winters become warmer here on Spitsbergen. The special on Spitsbergen is it's always different. It's the time of year. It's now the summer is now start, you can say, but we start 6 weeks ago with sailing here, and then actually all the mountains were still white. There was snow everywhere.
The first time I discovered Spitsbergen in general was back in 2015, and then it really became a place I really wanted to go to. It seemed so remote and so desolate that I really wanted to go there once in my life. And once I came here, I kind of got the Arctic bug as well. I wanted to stay here for a while. I think one of the best ways to explore Spitsbergen is by boat, because you get to cover a lot of distance and a lot of interesting wildlife is close to the shore. You see plenty of glaciers, you see plenty of wildlife, and it just gives you a bit more freedom to go by boat. It's really difficult to travel inland. Most of it you have to do hiking or skiing in the winter, so you cannot cover as much. So by going on a boat you get to see a huge part of it, which is really nice. I think the advantage of sailing on a small boat is we get a lot of flexibility. So we don't go by a fixed itinerary, but we can decide by the weather or by the wildlife where we go. And since it's such a small group, we can really tailor it to the needs of the guests. So some people really want to see a certain thing, and we can try to do that. If you bring a lot of people on land, it might be harmful, but since we're such a small group, it's the best way to see wildlife, and wildlife usually doesn't get scared by smaller groups. But yeah, I think it's really nice to be flexible mainly. try to do at least one landing a day, and sometimes two, where we explain about wildlife, about history, about the surroundings, and most importantly, we keep our guests safe, because there's some dangers here. Most of our guides have done A&G, which is education here on Spitsbergen, so they're very well trained for the local environment and they have a lot of local knowledge, because the most important thing is to keep you safe, especially for polar bears. And even though I've seen quite a few polar bears, still it is very moving every time when you spot new ones.
Navigation, when I started in '94 here, the charts were rather bad. There were a lot of shallow places not marked on the charts, but last years the charts improved a lot. We have now the electronic chart, but sailing makes it much more easy. Yeah, still, of course, you have to take care for ice for sure in the neighborhood of glaciers. But yeah, navigation is much easier as 30 years ago, that's for sure.
The thing that really moved me was sailing amongst the ice pack. The ice scraping off the side of the boat, you could hear it, and it was just unbelievable. We seemed to be so near the North Pole, so safe. We're on the edge of the world, as it were. It was amazing, absolutely amazing.
I've always wanted to go to the Arctic, and this offered an opportunity to go on a small ship where I could feel part of a crew and experience the real polar conditions in a situation that enabled me to get engaged with the environment and also the crew on board.
You feel like you're experiencing the Arctic and Svalbard in a more genuine and traditional way on board the sailing ship rather than going on board a larger cruise ship. We're able to get into much more unique places and smaller bays and anchorages. We can go ashore and see much more varied wildlife, and because there's only ever a small group of us at a time, we can get closer and in a more environmentally sustainable way, and that was also important to me. I didn't want to come and leave any mark of tourism or of my holiday on the environment. I want it to be here for hundreds and thousands of years for other people to experience the same way that I have.
I liked very much that it's quite contained, 20 maximum guests, which means that you've got time to meet everybody and talk properly to everybody, and mix, which has been wonderful, and everybody on board has been very interesting to speak to.
In the evenings there's a lot of fun, there's a few glasses of wine, not too much, but everybody just has a great time. And I've been on group expeditions before, but this is one where I think everybody gets on well and we're all sharing the same experiences.
This is a cruise for the quite adventurous, and of course the people are interesting because they're adventurous. They have stories to tell, they're funny, they're not too fussed, they have no personal hang-ups. What good company, excellent company.
The other guests on board, I feel like I've made friends for life. I came with one good friend and I'm leaving with 15 other friends. We've had such a good time together. We feel that we clicked immediately on the first night, and with the crew we have jokes and a laugh. We take the mickey out of each other. They have been like awesome in everything they've done and have completely fulfilled expectations and exceeded them. It's been incredible.
Sailing in the Arctic is also about allowing time to slow down, seeing the fragile environment with your own eyes and creation at its rawest. Walking those shores and hearing the glaciers calving truly makes you understand the importance of protecting this world. Visiting Svalbard is more than a holiday. It's a calling. You leave this voyage with the profound realization that the actions we take and decisions we make in our day-to-day lives have a monumental effect on the polar circle.